20-25 buffaloes used to laze around there every day. And my favorite thing to do was whenever we were driving by that road, I used to ask, slow down, I want to sort of look at the buffaloes. And even now, my family's pastime when we are doing road trips is like, oh, dekho, bhains.
Welcome to Radio Spark, the voice of Jaipuria.
Welcome back to Radio Spark Candid Talks. I'm RJ Saumya
and I'm RJ Saanvi.
and it's day 3 of the Bibliophile week.
Wait. Are you wondering what's Bibliophile week? It's a week dedicated to literature, books and poetry.
And that brings for us a very special guest, Miss Runjhun Noopur, a writer and an award-winning author of 2 bestsellers.
And she's a happiness coach as well. We welcome you to Radio Spark Candid Talks.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Youngest RJs ever. I think I'm not going to get younger interviewers anytime soon. So thank you so much. It's such an honor to be interacting with you guys today.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
We have a lot of questions for you.
Yes.
Please, shoot. We are going to have so much fun.
Creativity is a challenge. So how do you think about unique ideas for your literature?
I think it's not about, like sitting and thinking about ideas as such, You don't sit and think and, it's like your brain works in the opposite. So when you want to force your brain to think of a creative idea, chances are you are not going to come up with any creative idea, which is why you get your best ideas in the shower.
Very true.
Yeah, you get your best ideas in the shower, right? And most philosophers, thinkers, authors everywhere in the world vouch by the fact that while Eureka happened while Archimedes was in the bathtub.
Yes.
And there was a reason for that. So you do not have to force your brain. I don't force my brain. I just sort of let it come up with let it work on its own pace. Creativity is not something that you can learn as a process. You can obviously learn how to be creative. There are ways to do that, but you cannot learn creativity, so to speak. So you just have to allow your brain to wander and get lost in your imagination, which is why you don't have to be constantly engaged with your monitors, with your screens. You have to give your brain some time to think, and that is very critical. So if you really want to be creative, and that's what I also do, you have to let your mind wander without any technological tools, without TV, without phone. Just sit and get really bored. Your best ideas are gonna happen when you are truly and utterly bored.
Yeah. That's extremely helpful. So moving on, can you please elucidate on any 2 milestones of your career?
Okay, milestones, to yaar, as I want to be pompous and say, my milestones are yet to come, because what's the point of dwelling on something that has happened? But not milestones as such, but you can say turning points of sorts. One of them was when my first book came out back in 2018. It was a longish struggle, getting a book published is really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This book got completed, Nirvana in a Corporate Suit, is available on Amazon, mandatory plug. We have to market our books. So this book I had finished back in 2013. But from 2013 to 2018 was like an entire journey that I had to go through before I could finally get it out in the market. So that was a huge turning point in all sorts of ways, because it was a validation of me pursuing something that I love and it getting me where I wanted to be. So that was one. The other one, not really a turning point or a milestone, but is sort of important, is when I discovered how I wanted to become a coach, what kind of coach I wanted to become, what kind of trainings I wanted to do. So I decided I wanted to be a happiness coach or an emotional intelligence coach in technical terms. And we started building a business around that. So that's also been recent. So most of my turning points have been pretty recent. It's been a long journey, but I think those would be the 2 interesting points that have happened so far.
That must have been so memorable, ma'am. Now, how do you bring a dead audience alive? In situations where you encounter awkwardness, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, dead audience alive. So, such an important question. So, I'll tell you what, Saumya, we are one of the things that you learn in the training business or when you're coaching people or doing programs is that lecture is not going to work. The moment I sort of start giving you lectures and giving you gyan, if they wanted gyan, they have other people, right? They have YouTube and there are speaking sessions and motivational sessions happening everywhere. So why would they listen to me? They'll get bored, they'll go to sleep. So the best way to engage people is to make them do things. So we learn things the best when we are doing something, when our brain is engaged. So that again goes back to that shower thought thing, because your ideas are coming because you are doing something else. You are otherwise engaged and your brain is sort of going into the overdrive. So that's what we do. I'm giving out a trade secret here, but I'm an experiential trainer. But most of our training sessions focus on activity-based training, on experience-based training. We try to immerse you into something, into an experience, into a game, an activity. And after that, when we talk to you about the lessons, it usually works. It works for adults very well, and it works for, kids are anyway amazing to work with, but with adults especially. When you're doing an adult workshop for, as I was telling you during the session as well, I love kids so much that after that, it's very hard to do a session for adults. But for adults, it's very important. It's very important to keep them engaged, and that's how they learn.
Sorry, ma'am, but that's a secret we'll surely implement. And apart from that, what is your opinion on our school's initiatives of including such extravaganzas like Bibliophile Week? And did you have such opportunities in your childhood?
Do you want my ex-school to kill me? Do you really want them to do that? Oh, all right. So, I think that's an amazing initiative to have a Bibliophile Week, to actually have sessions that are focused on reading and writing and language and anything else for that matter. I think one of the fundamental things that defines your academic journey is not your marks, but the experiences that you gain during your school life. And these are the kind of events and extravaganzas that give you the experience that truly define and eventually have a disproportionate impact on who you become as adults. So I think this is a great initiative by Jaipuria. I really appreciate it. And I think more and more in our times, honestly, in our school, honestly, I think I would just say that there was scope for more. We had opportunities, I'm sure. We had a lot of events, but there's always scope for more, right? And it's great that schools these days are going for more and more such activities, more and more such events, and it's I think it's all of that is great. We did have opportunities, but I wish we had more.
That's extremely true. I'm really fortunate to be a part of this school. And I think this interview is surely going to make its mark in history.
We are immensely grateful to have you here with us, ma'am. And I'll surely not forget the essay on buffaloes you told us about in the assembly hall earlier.
For our curious audience, would you please brief us with your buffalo essay?
So back in the day around 2017, 2018, I was very active on this platform called Medium. And to the kids listening to this, please guys have a blog platform like that in your life and write there regularly, because there is audience there waiting to read you guys. So Medium used to be a big thing. It still is big, but I am sort of not very active there anymore. But I was doing this challenge for myself where I was doing 100 essays in a year. So I promised myself to write every day for 100 days. This was something that I should have told you guys in the assembly itself. That's how the practice thing works, right? You have to, consistency is the key. It's not about sort of, saying कि ठीक है हफ्ते में एक लिख लिया type, and I was not happy with that. I wanted to do more. So I took up this challenge, and the trickier part of that challenge was I was doing it publicly. Whatever I wrote, I put it out. I published it the same day, and I did it continuously for 100 days. The evidence is there on my Medium blog. If you guys will search my name with the word Medium, you'll land on their profile. Yeah. So there's day 1, day 2, day 3 karke. It's like an entire thing. One of the days I did an essay on buffalo because I genuinely love the animal. It's my favorite animal. As I told you guys, I'm promising you, if I get born again, I'm gonna be born as a buffalo because it's the animal that has figured life out. It just lazes around in the sun, soaks in the mud, mud and lives a very happy and content life, you know, the kind of life that we teach about in our happiness workshops. The buffalo has already achieved it. It's like its version of nirvana. So I love the buffalo, and as I told you guys, you have never seen a stray buffalo on the streets, right? You would have seen stray cows, but not a stray buffalo. Why? Because buffalo is expensive. It will get, if somebody leaves it on the streets, it will get stolen, and that is why people take good care of the buffalo. So buffalo knows its economics, and it is a great animal. And I wrote an essay on it, and a lot of foreign audience read it, because at that point of time on Medium, I was getting audience from across the globe, and they got very curious, and I got a lot of messages and direct DMs about people wondering, which buffalo are you talking about? Apparently, the Indian water buffalo is not an animal which is common outside. They have a different kind of a buffalo. So basically, the whole idea of buffalo became pretty much a rage, and people were talking to me over DM, and yeah, it was fun times. The idea why I shared it with you guys, I'll just harp back to the same point, is that writing is not literary in the grand sense. It doesn't have to be, or language doesn't have to be literary in the grand sense. Sometimes ordinary is very powerful, and if you know how to use your language right, and if you sort of master it well and do practice a lot, it will lead you to a place where even an ordinary thing like a buffalo, which is otherwise, you know, ignored, can turn into a fun subject for your pieces. So that's a recommendation that I gave you guys in the assembly as well, and I'm giving it to you again. Try and write about ordinary things. You don't have to come up with an ordinary or extraordinary Shakespeare-like idea. Write about a chair, a guitar, an experience on the street, a stranger on the street, the mangoes on the trees. I don't know, anything. Anything can be fun. That is the challenge. That is the idea of being creative, that you can make ordinary fun or ordinary interesting, and I think that's that.
Thank you once again, ma'am.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am. I
you.
personally never noticed the fact about the stray buffaloes on the road until you told us about it.
Oh, there is this, we are in Lucknow, now I think that road has been constructed, but there was a road behind our house where when you passed on it and you looked on the other side, there was this huge moss-covered pond, and some 20-25 buffaloes used to laze around there every day. And my favorite thing to do was, whenever we were driving by that road, I used to ask, slow down, I want to sort of look at the buffaloes. And even now, my family's pastime when we are doing road trips is like, oh, dekho, bhains. And it's one of the things that we do. We spot buffaloes, and every single time you find a buffalo, it's a happy content thing. It's not worried about anything. It is walking on the street. It will not buzz. You can honk your horn as much as you want. If there is a buffalo walking on the street, it is not going to give you away. And that is something to learn from a buffalo. Never ever cede your position to anybody who is honking
Yes,
at you.
ma'am.
So that's that.
It was a pleasure having you here with us, ma'am. It was such a fun conversation.
We look forward to have you here again.
Same here, guys.
I'm RJ Saumya.
And I'm RJ Saanvi.
Signing off.
Keep listening to Radio Spark, the voice of Jaipurya.
Hi guys, this is Runjhun Noopur, and you are listening to Radio Spark, the voice of Jaipurya.
Welcome to Radio Spark, the voice of Jaipurya.
We are immensely grateful to have you here with us, ma'am, and I'll surely not forget the essay you told us about on buffaloes earlier in the assembly hall.
For our audience, for our curious audience, in fact, would you please brief us with your buffalo essay?
So, back in the day, like around 2017, 2018-ish.
So sorry. Buffalo.
Buffalo. Buffalo.
Buffalo, you said.
Buffalo!
Sorry.
Because it will be edited then. It's better we do it again. We have time.
Buffalo!